First of all, get some chopsticks. You can use any chopstick-like object that you have, but I use chopsticks because I can get those for free all the time. Also, you need a glue gun, and of course glue for your glue gun. You can use regular clear glue, it works just as well, but I found these colored ones and I thought I would give those a go. Then also you need some paint to paint your wand with. I recommend using acrylic paints as they dry waterproof. Of course you can use any color you'd like, but if you need some inspiration, just keep watching and you'll see the colors I'm using. First, what you want to do is split your chopsticks in half and layer them to get the desired length for your wand. Then get your glue gun and begin by gluing the two pieces together. Don't worry about it being neat just yet, just make sure the two pieces are not going anywhere. And then you can basically go nuts with the glue gun. You can make many different kinds of shapes with this, so you can just be super creative with it. But now let me show you some tricks that I've learned from doing this a lot. Believe me, I've done this many times. So always make sure to start off with a nice base. Try to cover the entire thing in a base layer, just so every piece of wood is covered first. Then you can get a nice idea of what you want your wand to look like. If you want to get a sort of roughed up look to your wand, as shown here, what you want to do is put down some glue and streak it out with your gun as you go. The more you scratch the glue while it's drying, the rougher your wand is going to look. This is really easy to do, and I personally really love how this looks. Now, if you want the opposite and create a smooth surface, like here, you have to be a little more careful. First, make sure your glue is really hot and ready to go, so you can get a lot of hot glue out at the same time, which means waiting a little bit longer before you start using your gun. Then, after putting down a blob of glue, start angling your wand in the direction that you want the glue to fall. If the glue is really hot, it should be liquidy enough to do this. If it's not, you can help the glue along with your glue gun a little bit, but you have to do this quite quickly because the moment the glue starts to dry, you have to stop touching it, or it will lose its smoothness. So here you can see the two techniques next to each other, the smooth side and the more rough side. So it's completely up to you what you do with it, and I would just say practice makes perfect. Also, you'll probably find some hairy bits when you're using your glue gun. Don't worry about those. Once the glue is dry, you can just pluck them off very easily. Don't worry about it. So here I'm showing you how to make a nice tip to your wand, because sometimes the chopstick's end can be a little too blunt or too bulky looking. So what you want to do is put a little dot of glue at the tip of your wand, and once again just angle the wand in the direction you want. And then once the glue is kind of dry, you have the opportunity to mold it a little bit, so you can kind of make a little point with it. It takes a little bit of practice to get the timing right, because if you go too soon, you might mess up the smoothness, and if you go too late, the whole thing becomes unmoldable. But as you can see here, I'm molding the tip of my wand to make it a little bit more pointy. So what you want to do with your wand is entirely up to you, but here are some ideas. Here I'm making quite a smooth handle. This wand is quite bubbly and streaky looking, and I've decided to make a large ball at the top of it just because I think it's pretty and it holds really well in your hand. This one is thinner and quite straight. I wanted to go for a rather minimalist look here. For this one, I decided to shave down the chopsticks a little bit to make a much thinner wand. I was inspired for the colors of my glue for this one, which was white and black, so I decided to make sort of a marble effect. I wanted it to look kind of fancy, and I thought maybe I could bling it up a little bit later. Now, onto painting. What you want to do is put down a base layer first. Even if your glue already has color, it's good to put down some paint first because the texture of the glue is quite rubbery and everything looks quite shiny. So for the first one, I decided to go for plain and brown. My second minimalistic wand, I just covered in black. For my marbled wand, I started putting down a white base coat, but I felt like it kind of ruined the look of it. So I quickly removed the paint with a wet cloth and decided to leave this one bare. So once you have a base coat done, you can add depth to your wand using darker and lighter colors. I like to use black to roughen up the look of the wand, and also gold to give it a little bit of a magic touch. Just roughly dab on it with a stiff brush. And if you've added too much, don't worry, just use a paper towel to wipe away the excess. As I said before, I wanted to add some bling to my fancy marble wand, so I took some iridescent glitter, like this, and then I spread a little bit of glue into the hollow area that I'd made before, and I quickly poured the glitter over that, making it stick to the inside of the wand. So this kind of makes it look as if there's some sort of geode inside, which is really cool. It would have even been better, of course, to simply glue a small real crystal into the top of the wand, but I didn't have a small enough crystal at hand, so I didn't do that this time, but I am definitely going to try that in the future. So here is the little wand collection that I've made. These are so easy to make. It takes maybe 25 minutes per wand tops, and the materials are super cheap. They are really sturdy as well. I can tell you from experience that these ones are more durable than the official Harry Potter ones. The glue won't budge, I promise, and the glue also means that the wand can bend a little bit if you put strain on it, which is great if you're planning to actually use it for dueling and stuff. Also, they're completely customizable. They're great for birthday parties, cosplays, dueling, or just to display. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you decide to make your own wands, please let me know how it goes and tag me on Instagram with all your creations. I'd love to see what everyone can do with this method. But that's all for now. Stay magical, and I will see you in the next video.